Hello, everyone. We are live. Welcome and thank you for tuning into a Women Touch podcast, putting yours, minds, and everyone touch on women matters. Remember, we are a no filter zone here. I'm your host, Adezia Nejime, the editorial and marketing person for Intuition Magazine. We aim to relate, to teach, educate, and enlighten, counsel, publicize, promote, and empower women. We are a magazine, so check us out at intuitionmagazine.com. Intuition is an all-women's magazine. Think of the magazine as informational mixed with some glam. We have seasonal magazine issues and online merchandise stores, so check us out. Get ready for the magazine and take a look at the topic in our newest fall and winter issue. Follow all of our socials at Intuition Magazine. For video podcast highlights, check our TikTok at Intuition Magazine. For the full exclusive audio or video, check our YouTube and Spotify at Intuition Magazine. Want to participate in our video or audio podcast? Check our Discord link in YouTube description in the About section on Spotify. And check the Discord for scheduled events. So for today's topic, we're going to go over something that a lot of people, maybe in their 20s or 30s, or maybe even younger, are going through, which is basically moving out, something that I'm pretty sure we all experience or experiencing at the moment. We're going to talk about independence. We're going to talk about family, friends, finances, getting rejected by jobs. We're going to talk about personalities, events, like going to social events, having like your mental health, your social health, and also like how to network when you're out in the world being independent. So we have two great guests here that I want to get to introducing. So if I can have one person start off by introducing their name, what they do, and then why the topic that we're discussing is important to them.
Oh, okay. I'll go. My name is Autumn Carter. Currently living in Dallas, Texas. 26 years old. Currently a quality mindset analyst at an automotive manufacturer. And I'm a graduate of the Tennessee State University. So that's a little bit about myself.
Awesome.
I think it's important because this is like a lot of people our age are transitioning at this point in life. So it's just like we're all going through these things together, but at the same time, it's kind of like we're at the crossroads between like renting and buying, or just like having a roommate or living by ourselves. So it's all just different things we're going through at this time period. It's all just part of this transition into like true adulthood, I guess you can call it.
Okay. I like that. And Obi?
Hello, my name is Obi. I'm 22 years old. I recently moved out to LA and I'm a real estate agent and I'm also Adeze's younger sister. And I believe that this is an important topic because it's something currently that I went through and still am going through. And I just feel like, if I could help someone out or just give advice or anything like that would be that'd be nice because it would have been nice to have received some help myself as far as like any information or tips and tricks and stuff like that.
Okay. Great. I like that response. So let's get right into it. We're going to have two segments for this podcast. Our first segment is called Q&A sesh. So we're basically going to have a couple questions that I kind of like, I stumbled upon. I thought that you guys would be like great at answering. So we'll go ahead and ask the first question. One of you or both of you guys can have an answer for it. First off, what did your parents think when you guys brought up like moving out? Like, what did your parents think?
Mm, well, I'm gonna say I didn't. Well, like went off to school, so it's kind of like it wasn't necessarily like, oh, I'm just moving out per se. You know what I'm saying? It's like I moved
Mm-hmm.
out, but I still had some place to come back to for like 4 years. So I guess it wasn't just like, oh, I'm moving out, I'm leaving you guys. It was kind of like more of a transitional period because I was in school, and then by the time I graduated, it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like understood I'm not coming back home type thing. So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That was
Okay, for sure.
basically me too because I
Yeah.
moved down to SF to go to school out there, and I was for 2 years, and then like right after that, I ended up going out to like moving out to LA. So like my parents weren't really too, they didn't have much to say because it happened so fast. But I think they definitely didn't want me to move, and there was a little bit of like hesitation. But ultimately, it's not really up to them. So yeah,
Definitely. I feel like there's a difference between moving out for school and then moving out for work. So
definitely.
okay, so I'm gonna move on to the second question. So if somebody just like wanted to move out, but then everyone around them was telling them no, what do you advise that person? Do you think they should still move out if they wanted to? Or
I'm gonna say that's one of those things that a lot of times I feel like people tell you not to do something is because they couldn't or they can't. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of people try to hold you back because you're doing something they really want to do, or something that they just haven't been able to do it yet. You know what I'm saying? Or it's almost like not even trying to be funny. Some people, like older people, will hate on you, I guess, because you somebody else's kid and just don't want you to do well in life. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person like I'm not saying just move out just to move out because I feel like if you're not financially or mentally there, it's just like one of those things that what's the rush. But if you really feel like you in a place that you've outgrown wherever you were at, or you just really ready to take that next step, I feel like just go ahead and do it because it's like you're not. At some point, you have to provide change in your life. If you're not changing, I feel like you're not growing. So, and that's all about part of that's changing your environment also.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I think projection's real. Like people will definitely like talk to themselves when they're telling you like you can't move and you shouldn't move. Like they're really talking about themselves, like why they didn't move or why they weren't able to move. Like I definitely suggest to like understand and know your why. Like if your why for moving is strong, and that's literally all that matters. Like know why you're moving and know your purpose, and then just follow through with it and don't look back. Pretty much.
yeah, I think I relate to that as well because I feel like out of just like me and my sisters, I feel like I was the most hesitant because like people around me would be like, "Oh, why are you moving to LA? Like LA, you're not going to make it. LA, you're not going to, you're going to fall down financially." Like I was just hearing all these kind of things and then I was like, "Well, shoot, like if that's the case, then like why am I even doing it cuz other people are saying it?" Cuz I kind of just go with what other people are saying, but I guess I can never fully know unless I do it myself. So I had to change my mindset and change it to like, well, I want to say at least I did it, at least I tried. That way I don't go throughout life. I'm like, well, wow, I never even tried it. So how would I know like the outcome of it? So yeah, I think that's a good point you guys made. Um, So to switch over to like the social part of everything, like how do you guys handle like family or not family, but like making friends and then like maybe like romantic interests, like dating, like how do you guys handle the social aspects of moving out? Did you find it like harder than like in your hometown? Kind of like the social part of it.
Well, for me, making friends has been, I've been fortunate to make friends, but I know that it's hard out here. I personally had to like resort to means that I typically don't do. Like I went to Facebook groups and I just was like, oh, new to LA, all that stuff, and like found a friend through there, and we've been like vibing ever since. And like romantically wise, or like just relationship wise, like I'm not checking for anybody out here. I'm gonna let them come to me
Mm-hmm.
because you know what, LA's got a lot of people. A lot of people will tell you things. A lot of people who are just shady and all that. So I'd rather just not participate until they are ready for me.
Okay. You said they gotta wait.
Hmm.
Okay. What about you, Autumn?
I'm gonna say for me it's a little different also because like I'm 13 hours away from where I'm from, so this is like the furthest I've ever been from home. But at the same time, it's kind of like I've moved to Texas with my boyfriend, so it's one of those things like I'm not 100% alone, but it's just kind of like for me, one, I had never been like a serious relationship that I'm living with somebody, but at the same time, it's kind of like we both don't know anybody down here, so it was like of course we know like some people from like where we went to school and things of that nature, but it's not kind of like you still have to start recreating those friend groups or like even like small things like finding churches or just finding like people in your community, things like that. It's kind of like a whole new fresh start, and it was different, and it's like even now like coming out of the pandemic and stuff like that and get back to travel, it's still hard to like go back home and things of that nature because you can't just hop on a plane because plane tickets are expensive, let's be honest. But at the same time, I can't just drive 13 hours either. Like, it's nothing. So finding that balance has been a little difficult, but at the same time, it's like I don't necessarily feel like I have to go back home to see my family. Like, if they're in another city that's close by, I'll try to get there versus be like, okay, I may not come home, but I'll come see y'all here. You know what I'm saying? So that's really just what I try to do. But even then, it's kind of like I just have to spend time with my boyfriend's family also. So it's kind of like just to understand balance of being in a relationship. It's kind of like, okay, I got to split the holidays because as much as I want him to come with us all the time, it's kind of like I got to be fair and we go to them too. You know what I'm saying? So.
Mm. You brought up like finding your own local, like your church, and you're finding a community, because that's something that me and my sisters had to do. Like we had to find like where to go to the bank and like where to go to do our shopping. What's our go-to spot to like recycle and like all these things that we basically had to start anew of like how to do things in like in the place that we moved to. Because back at home, like we already had like a go-to spot or we already knew where to go. And yeah, so everything just changes as far as like, okay, where do we have to go now for this so and so, or to do this, or to, whatever the case may be. So I think that's something to keep note of. But like getting into that, how do you guys try to like stay happy and positive? So I know sometimes it can be a roller coaster of emotions when something's not going your way, or maybe you're doing stuff on your own and you're like, you know what, I'm having a bad day, and you don't really have that like family support system physically with you at the moment. How do you guys handle like being happy and positive?
For me personally, I just started going back to therapy, and I know that's like for a lot of people, they're just I don't understand why people have a problem of admitting that you need help because getting help isn't always like, oh, you're in a crisis. It's just like sometimes you just need assistance figuring some things out. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not depressed or anything or just like going through anything tragic. Like my life is actually, I'm actually very grateful for everything that's happening and I'm actually having a ball right now. But at the same time, I know there's some personal issues just as like an adult I need to fix within myself because before I get married or before I apply for promotions and stuff or just in the everyday relationship just being a better person. You know what I'm saying? Like and I realized, like I said before, I want to change, but my change is part of me growing. So another thing is I realized I can't talk to all the same people all the time about the same issues I'm having. Even that's like my friends, my family, because at the end of the day, their opinion of me is somewhat biased. And so like for me, I have to go to somebody who doesn't know me, doesn't know anything about me to really get a different perspective and help me really figure out, okay, like what's the issues or is like, am I tripping or is it really they're tripping? You know what I'm saying? So that was one thing. But also like I started taking a lot more trips and going to visit locations like I've never been. Like I was telling my aunt earlier, I was like, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, making some decent money. You might as well go ahead and kick it real quick before I go ahead and sit down for life. So, you know, that's just really how I go about things and just I'm really trying to learn how not to overwork myself, but at the same time it's kind of like really finding time to give myself a break, or just realizing when I need to cut back and take some time for myself.
Therapy is a big one. I know that a lot of people are actually, a lot of people my age are at least going to therapy. And growing up, like therapy was like something that was shunned upon because it was like it was something's wrong with you or something. But I'm glad that it's getting more out there in the media that it's normal, like it's okay, and like you said, you don't have to be in a crisis. You just want a non-biased look at like what you're going through, and that's like perfectly okay, and it's like a mentally positive way of sorting yourself out. So I like that. Have anything to add, Obi?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, for me, it's good to like take things day by day and like not overwhelm yourself. Like, for instance, if you got a lot going on and you just feel like you like don't have a hold of situation, I just take a step back. And I'm like, tomorrow's a new day, and I'm like, let me treat me. So I'm like, let me go get some food real quick. Let me go FaceTime a friend, catch up. Like, let me do something for me to make me kind of like, kind of distract myself in a way, and also just kind of just put things in perspective that like, hey, like you still have a roof over your head, you still have food, you're not dying. Like, let's just calm down and like take it, in manageable bites, little steps, pretty much.
Okay, great. So moving on, financial planning. How do you guys handle like financial sort of plans like food, gas, bills, rent, laundry? Do you guys have like a notepad, or do you get tell yourself, okay, I'm only going to spend this much today? Is there like an advice you can give to our viewers about how you like are financially responsible with your money when you're moving out?
Well, I've just been using my notes app. I'll just like write down all my expenses for the month, and it'll be like rent, utilities, gas, groceries. And so I have an idea of how much money I'm going to be spending on those items for the month. And so like my 9 to 5 will cover that, for instance. And then for miscellaneous or things that aren't really that standard or that important, such as like clothes shopping or like snacks or like entertainment going out, I have like another job on the side, so I'll just use that money to like take care of that. And I have like this app that tracks like my spending, and I'll try to do it so that I don't like, end up like in debt or just like where's my money kind of thing. And it's been working for me. So yeah.
I would say for me, I'm not gonna lie, I tried the whole writing everything out. I don't know why, I just don't like writing things down. It's the weirdest thing ever. But I keep everything in my head because I'm cheap. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a cheap person, like, or financially frugal, however you want to put it. I say I'm cheap either way. So, yeah, like I'm not really into the whole you gotta have name brand designer everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you go to the store, I'm gonna go get a deal. Like, period. Like, when you're moving and everything, like, for real. Yeah. Like, I click coupons. I don't even go get an oil change without a coupon. Like, so serious. Even when it comes down to like rent, I think it's ridiculous, these rent prices. Like, I shouldn't be paying what somebody else is paying a mortgage in rent.
Yeah.
And I have like hundreds of less square footage, and I don't have a yard or any. That's ridiculous to me. I think it's crazy. You will pay $2,000 for one bedroom downtown because it looks good. You know what I'm saying? It's like that don't make sense. I think people oftentimes, like especially our generation, we have a bad way of living outside of our means.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean, everybody say, "Oh, blame social media," but that's what it is. Like, we just try here trying to impress everybody, and it's like, don't get me wrong, I have my moments too, but I'm just like, man, I'm about to go get this, and I'm gonna post this and look good on the gram. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, at the same time, I have enough sense to be like, it's not always about that, or it's like I don't always feel the need to buy something, or if it's like I want to go somewhere in a couple months, let me sit down and not go outside a couple weekends so that I can go hang out like I want to when I'm in a whole new city. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like small things. So it's like when you come to budgeting, it's just a matter of wants and needs. People sit there, you actually think about what do I need to take care of. Then that's where like I have my own side hustle too. I make like custom clothes and stuff like that. And I was talking about how I went to homecoming last weekend. A lot of the orders that I did made up for like the plane ticket or made up for some clothes I wanted to buy for when I went out homecoming. And it's kind of like I probably wouldn't have did some of that stuff if I wasn't able to make up that money in other areas because like I just don't want to spend my regular check. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just all about like a person's perspective to me about are you more worried about like your financial means or are you worried about like what somebody else on the outside gonna say about how you look? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely get you because I think I got used to like living comfortable when I was living with my parents because they covered everything. So I was able to spend money on like different clothes and shoes or like jewelry or whatever I needed. But moving out here, I definitely was um, like put in a position where I was like, dang, I can't buy this anymore. Or like, I was like, oh wow, like I have to wait. I actually have to wait to purchase this. Like, so it definitely humbled me, humbled my spendings living here. Um, but like you said, I think just spending within your means is a smart way to do it. It's tempting with like social media because you want to be able to like flex on the gram, be like, oh, I have this going on. But I think the reward in the future would be worth it because towards the end, like you have a goal and you have something you want to achieve, so you'll be able to do all that flexing, whatever, when you make your goal and stuff. So it's just the journey right now. It's just the struggle, but then there's a destination. So I like that. Um, so how do you guys feel about? I don't know if you guys are currently working, but getting a job, like the career you're in, like the struggles of it. Did you guys face a lot of like rejection? How was the networking for you guys? Like moving out, getting a job, in the process of applying, and or even starting a business, or like, can you guys kind of explain that process for you guys?
The jobs hunt is tough. I don't care what anybody says. It's tough. I was fortunate to graduate with a job, but at the same time, I did like internships all throughout. I was pretty much in school, so it's kind of like I just put in the work a little bit earlier. But at the same time, I don't have the same job that I had when I graduated. So I went through the whole job search of postgraduate, and I'm not gonna lie. I've got so many rejection emails. It didn't make no sense before I got my current job. Like I'm talking about I'm just applying to stuff just because LinkedIn said it's an easy apply. Like it's just trying for things, trying for price ranges I know good well I'm not about to get. And so it's just like one of those things. But I also got rejected by a job I did really want, and so that was kind of like a punch in the face. But at the same time, I got to tell anybody, I'm like, if it's not the right job, then God just didn't want you to have that job. That's not the right situation for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a firm believer that if God wants something to happen, He'll make it happen. So it's like I said, I was hurt over a job that I like dreaming about since I was in college, and I didn't get it. And it's like I'm throwing myself a pity party, but then it's like I didn't get that job, but the job I got now is way better. I got to move to a way better city. I'm getting paid more, and the benefits are amazing. So it's like while I'm sitting there pouting about that one, I got end up getting a whole better opportunity off that rejection. But I tell everybody, it's kind of like don't go in thinking it's going to be like some overnight thing unless you're just going to settle for any type of job. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get your dream job, it's kind of like you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to go do the interviews. You're going to sit down and fill out them long applications that don't make sense, that feel like you don't answer the same question 20 times. But at the same time, it's kind of like you get out what you put into the process.
Yeah, 100%. Rejections from jobs, especially from the ones that you want, hurt the most. But like you said, like I think everything happens for a reason, and like that's why you landed with a good job at the end of the day and end up working. So you may never know what's working behind the scenes for you. So yeah, I think I'm a true believer of that for sure. You have anything to add, Opie?
Yeah, I most definitely settled for the job that I was working at when I first moved out here because it was just kind of like thrown in my face, and I was like, okay, well, I need to make rent, but I like Autumn had said, like if God doesn't want you to do it, like it's not going to be for you. So I'm like job hunting right now, LinkedIn, doing the whole thing, and it's just it's a process, but I'm sure like the right one will come with soon, and if not, like it's okay. Like I'm comfortable where I'm at, so no pressure. But it would be nice to get employment soon.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Don't worry, it will come.
Don't worry, it will come. Definitely, it'll come. I say, I think I applied for like a year before. I hope it doesn't take that long, but just keep sticking to it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you guys recommend like living with roommates or living solo? And what are the ups and downs to like the whole roommate situation and living by yourself? Or you guys have any roommate stories you guys want to get into? You guys can go ahead.
I mean, well, I've lived with 7 roommates in SF, and it worked out for the most part. We were all on the soccer team, so we all had like a basic understanding of like rules and boundaries, and we had like good discipline, and so we were, it worked out. Moving out here with my 2 sisters, I definitely would suggest, and like, I'm pro roommates. It helps with cutting costs, and you're not bored all the time. Like you always have something to do. You always have someone to talk to. All this and all that, someone to go with if there's an event or whatever the case may be. Um, I would say, yeah, do it if you can, because these bills, it's a lot. So if you could split it 2 ways, 3 ways, 4 ways, it helps. Anything helps. Yeah.
Okay. I agree, being one of your sisters.
I would say for me, so like in college, I always lived like pretty much with random people until like my last year. I lived with my line sister, but even then we lived with 2 other randoms. So I'm a social introvert. Um, I can be around people, but I like my personal space in my house is like my sanctuary. Like I don't like people in my personal space like that. So it's kind of like it would be hard for me to have a roommate, and it's like you're always here because I like to be by myself at times. Like I live with my boyfriend, but it's different than living with somebody who like doesn't have to listen to you, doesn't really have to always consider what you say. They can bring in their own guests. I don't know. It's just a different dynamic. So it's kind of like if we weren't together, I probably wouldn't have a roommate because I just like being by myself when I'm in my house. But at the same time, it's kind of like with him being here, it is a great help of like with the rent, with the other bills, groceries, like you said. And so it is that benefit there. But at the same time, it's kind of like if he was to ever move out, I'm going to be like, well, I got to by myself, but them bills gonna double. So
right.
Pick your battles type thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like when I was at UC Davis, I lived with some random people, and it was definitely something crazy because they were all from different. It's like different people I've never been around, different personalities. Some people like to leave their food out. I don't like that. Some people like to not wash dishes, and like it was just like you can't tell them like don't do that because like they weren't raised like they were raised a certain way. So and I'm not like their mom, so it was hard. Like at least living with my sisters, like we all came from like the same household. So if we had like rules from back at home, like it was kind of like okay, yeah, well, there's like a common understanding. But like living with random people, like no one knows like they're like each other's like how they were raised. So it was hard, kind of like looking at people's like just people leaving stuff around, just like cleanliness things, and like yeah, it was definitely rough. But they had their ups and downs because it was almost like a sleepover every night, so that was kind of fun too. But Yeah, that was different for sure. I'd probably recommend it if you're the type of person that's like social and you're able to kind of look past things. But if you're like an introvert and you really don't like people in the area, I don't think I would recommend like a whole roommate thing. I'd probably just recommend going solo because once you're living like and once you're in your home, like you need to be comfortable in your home, like because if you have nowhere else to go but home, like where else are you gonna go? So yeah, it's a tough spot. What are you guys' opinions on like luxury apartments versus like a old style, outdated apartment. Like, although luxury apartments are more expensive, they're really nice. But then you also have like the outdated apartments that are really old but more affordable. So, did you guys get into a situation where you're in an apartment or a place where it was a little bit run down and not really your liking? And any like factors or anything you face with like the living situation you guys were in?
I mean, I think the apartment that we have now is like definitely fixer
Well,
upper.
like I said
Like,
earlier, for starters, I just refuse to pay a certain price point because then I feel like I'm paying a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for starters. So it's kind of like the apartment I live in now. It's not like super nice or anything, but at the same time, it's like one of those things. And it's a super nice area, and it's like not just run down or anything. And it's like we have the valet, everything gated type thing. So it's kind of like I'm pleased with where I'm staying, but at the same time, it's kind of like if it keeps going up, I'm probably gonna have to move because, like I said, I feel like I'm paying a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
I love luxury apartments, you know, like the high rise, all of that. Like, I have Chanel on the wall. I'm just kidding. It's not framed or anything. Don't look at that. But I mean, the thing is, it's just like it's so costly, and it being out in LA, it's gonna be so much money. You're not even owning the property, but like if you have the means to do it, like go ahead and do it. Like that's the goal for me one day. But the apartment I have now is super cozy. It's super affordable within the budget, and after I put like tender loving care into it, my personal touches, like it's really nice now, and it's a good starter pack. So I can't be mad.
Definitely. I think it's what you make of it at the end of the day. And if the price goes up, then find somewhere else, I guess.
Hmm.
Okay, so lastly, do you guys have any regrets moving out? Was there something that, like, oh, I should have known this? Or, like, dang, like, I wish I did this first? Or did you guys feel like, you know what? I owned every mistake and I don't have any regrets?
No, I'm gonna say I think my only regret is not being in the kitchen with my mom more when I was growing up because it's like there's a lot more stuff I feel like I need to know how to cook that I don't. And it's not that she didn't cook it. I just didn't like care enough to be there. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I can't cook, but it's like I had to cook Thanksgiving by myself last year. And all I did was call her and have her on FaceTime the whole time because it's just like it's my first time cooking certain things. And so it's just like little stuff like that that you don't think about that's going to add up in the future. Or it's just like calling because you need to learn how to fix something on your car or something like that. Call my dad real quick. Like, do I need to do this because I don't want somebody to take it to the shop and they try to play me or something like that. So it's just like little everyday things that's kind of like get your parents' advice or an adult's advice on how to take care of like your everyday habits because you never know what you might need to know and you don't even think about it because it's not like financial or something that's like major happening.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. Especially with the cooking thing, I can relate to that. 'Cause my mom made some really bomb Nigerian food, and I don't know how to cook any of it. So yeah, I agree with you on that. Did you want to say anything, Obi?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a decent cook, but like any regrets per se, I don't think I have any. Like I knew this is what I wanted to do as soon as I graduated SF, and I just like jumped and didn't look back. I mean, it would have been nice to have a job out here so I could just go straight into that. But at the end of the day, like it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's not like the end all be all.
Okay,
So
that's
yeah,
good.
don't really
I
have
think the job
anything.
thing is. is true for me, at least for me, because finding a job out here was really hard. And it not wasted a lot of time, but it took a lot of my time because I was trying to move and like pack things, buy stuff, and find a job at the same time. So it was just more on my plate than what it should be. Um, but yeah, I think I agree. I don't think I have really regrets, but I do have like things I wish I'd done differently. But I think it's in the past, and like everyone moves out in a different way, in a different fashion. As long as the destination is there, as long as I get to do what I want to do, I think that's what matters. So, okay, that wraps up that segment. Now we're going to move on to watching some videos and just react to them. And that should be that part of it. So I'm going to put up the first TikTok video and you guys can just give me your thoughts on it. Oh, this is the unpopular opinion segment. So you guys will be watching content and you just let me know what you guys think. So I'll put the first video up.
Understand, you said you never leave. Told me that you'd be there, but you're not here to me. You're always on my mind.
What was that? I'm sorry. A car, a job, and then like he said some savings. I think 10K in savings. Something like that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree.
It's the most realistic way of doing it. It's hard to get started with that, but if you can get started with it, I think it's a leg up.
Do not rent an apartment until you know these 3 secrets. Congrats, man, you got the apartment. Just signed the lease right here. Thanks, but before I sign the lease, I want to do one last walkthrough to make sure it's actually perfect. And I want to make sure that I take some pictures to make sure you guys don't do me dirty in the end. Sorry, I can't let you do another walkthrough until you sign that lease. Actually, that's false. I gave you my deposit already, which secures it for me. Fine, man, just make it quick. By the way, I saw you guys have a movie and special of 1 month free. Yeah, that's correct. Well, I like to prorate that along my lease term. I know by doing this, it will save me extra $200 a month. Yeah, I can do that for you, but you know too much. Yeah, and I also know I need to submit my forwarding address in writing in order to get my deposit back. Wow, you must follow the real melanin king.
Right. And any of this stuff, was he saying true, or what do you like the whole sign lease process?
I have never I don't know if I asked for another walkthrough, so I'm not really sure about that part. But like last time I did get a security deposit back, I don't even think it was like a difficult process or anything like crazy. So now the whole rent thing, I hope that's true. I'm gonna find that out.
I'm not sure about that last part. He was like, "Oh, you gotta send them like your forwarding address in writing or something." If that's the case, I need to hop on that now, but that's not how it was in SF. Like, I don't think I got my deposit back, so I don't even know.
Yeah, this is security deposit. It's like lower at the end. Like you don't even get your money back.
Yeah.
Oh, they gonna find something wrong, so they don't get to give it back all back to you. They gonna find something.
Respect on the wall. Like, nope.
Like I know my carpet dirty, so I'm gonna get a carpet cleaner in here before I let them check it.
That's why I paint the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
5 advices on moving out which I wish someone had told me. Number 1, buy all the things you need before moving out little by little, especially when they go on sale like Black Friday or 4th of July. Number 2, create a budget and save that much amount and a little bit more so that you can have enough money for unforeseen expenses. Number 3, take advantage of secondhand products. You don't always need to buy new expensive products. Take advantage of Facebook Market, Craigslist, OfferUp, and also sometimes they will give you free things. 4, read your lease. Reading your lease is really important, especially if you are going to move out earlier or renew your lease, whatever the case is, always read everything on your lease. Number 5, always do research as much as you can, especially on the location, the safety, your commute. Check if there's a train nearby, buses, whatever the case is, always do your research.
Oh yeah, that's a good video. I like when she said Facebook Marketplace. That's what we use.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that's the that part and the whole safety precautions, like of what's around you. Those are the two parts I agree with because definitely people are asleep on Facebook Marketplace. Let me tell you, I don't came up on Facebook Marketplace a couple times. Actually, a lot of people I know that like do Airbnbs. They furnish just their stuff through like Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark, OfferUp, things of that nature. Because it's just like people just trying to get stuff all quick without having a yard sale. But definitely the part about like transportation on your surrounding areas, that's definitely key. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Is that something that you do think yourself?
Yeah, when she's like, get the stuff you need little by little before you move out. Like to me, you're making more of a headache for when you move. Like you're buying more stuff that you're gonna have to take with you. Why not get it once you get there? That doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I got more stuff to pack if I'm buying this stuff little by little, and it's kind of like depending on when you start, that might add up after a while. It's kind of like one of those things you do once you get there.
Yeah.
I can see
I can
that.
see that. I think for me, like I was like the person like buying a bunch of stuff at home. Like I was buying a bed, a desk, and everything. And I came home, like I was moving here, and I was like carrying all this stuff. And now I'm like, I could have just like bought it here. So yeah, I definitely could see that for sure. Was there like anything you would disagree or agree with?
Facebook Marketplace for sure. Like, I don't know why, but my mom like had a really bad connotation of it. She was like, "Oh, it's dirty." I think she's like, people die on the couch. They would just say some really crazy.
Die.
And I said, "Mom, like I'm not."
Someone's ashes.
Yeah, like, ow, like sorry, like I'm not buying like second hand. I'm buying like second hand. Like there's a difference, and it looks good. Like
Right?
our couch looks fine.
You can still check it out before you get it. It's not like you just buy it.
Exactly.
It's like you can come look at it real quick type thing. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's local.
Exactly. You like it, you get it. You don't, you leave. Like it's not really like you're locked in.
But what
Like
if they're lying to you? Like, oh, it's no one peed on it, and then you look at there's a pee stain over there, like at home.
then you don't get it.
Yeah,
You
know
might
where you buy it.
oh well, yeah, you gotta get that carpet cleaner or like the pee remover and kind of get to work.
That's
But
disgusting. Okay. I can't get like I Facebook Marketplace. I'd probably use it to buy like a sheetrock or something. But like my bed, like I sleep in like.
Shoot, I got an Apple Watch off there.
see,
Oh yeah, that
Cause like,
that's
cause
fine.
somebody was like they had got two for Christmas and it was like still in the plastic and everything, and she was just like she wanted to get rid of it. I was like, shoot, bring it my way. Let me get a deal.
right.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I could do that.
Never been used.
Some AirPod Pros, got those off Facebook Market. I don't look. John
Came up.
Let me see.
Alright, we got one more video. You read that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this.
No, that's, I felt that video in my soul.
Why do you say that?
I'm a party of one. Like it's you by myself. Like it's just like you be yourself. Like you can just be weird, do what you want, get up, just sit there. I'm a firm believer. I think I can sing. I don't know why. I feel like when I get around other people, my voice start cracking. But you know, I think I sound pretty good. If somebody put some secret mics around my house, I might not be half bad for real. But yeah, it's just like sometimes you just need your own space.
You have a nice like, speaking voice.
Thank you very much.
There's like a rhythm to it.
You know, some people they be like, when I went to going like to an HBCU, they were like, "Oh, you talk so proper," and it's like, no, I talk correct. Like, what? Like, I don't know what talking proper is. Like,
Yeah.
articulating, I don't know. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell.
Right. This is just how I speak.
But no, I appreciate that. It's always been weird because my voice is like kind of deep, especially for a female. So it's just like always been like low key self conscious about my voice because it's just like my voice is so deep compared to other people.
Mm.
But Beyonce got a deep voice, so it's cool.
I can get behind it. But yeah, I understand like being just muted by yourself, like how she was just like jumping on the couch, like, because I'm like that too. Like me and my sister, we just be like doing some weird, like whatever, we like burst out like laughing or dancing or whatever the case is. Like we're like we're in our personal space, personal space.
Yeah, I'm gonna say one of my favorite things to do is probably act like I'm performing, like I'm at a concert or I'm in the studio. Especially like I'm in the shower, I be acting like the shower head's my microphone. I'll be yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds so much better in the shower. I don't know, the
Yeah.
water
And stuff like that. I told you I already think I can sing a little bit. I'll be in the whole session like it's the early 2000s.
Entire.
Act like I'm in a music video.
Exactly.
It's the best. And like no judgment, like no one's there like yelling at you, like turn on the water or just
Right.
like get out of there. Like it's a nice time.
Our parents, like, living with them, it was just like they always wanted to tell us what to do, or we have to come back at this time. And it was just like,
I'm gonna say like my parents weren't like uptight like that. And I think it's because I didn't like just go out per se. Like I didn't really care anything about anything except like school and basketball and hang with my friends. But me and my friends were like in all the same extracurriculars like outside of like school. So it's kind of like they weren't like, oh, you need to be back home by a certain time because they knew if I wasn't home, I was only at like 4 of the people's house. You know what I'm saying? And all our parents were cool. So it wasn't like, oh, come home. It's kind of just like, y'all need to stay where y'all at. Don't be out all night. You know what I'm saying? So I will definitely say I didn't really have any like strict regulations like that. Fortunately.
well, that's good.
So what I'm trying to explain here is basically my parents will still try to parent from far away, even though me and my sisters moved out.
Oh no, that was over with.
Explain ourselves.
That was
Yeah.
no.
Exactly. And they still try to parent
I'm not,
over FaceTime.
no hanging and the tattoos. That's two different stories. I didn't get my first tattoo till I was like 21 or something like that, and even then I was scared to tell my mom, but I had to tell her because when I got it done, this is like one day she decided to be goofy and keep jumping on me while I'm in the bed, and I had it on my side of my right here on my ribs, and she kept hitting me, and I was just like, I had to look. I'm like, dog, like you are killing me right now. And finally, I was like, look, you see it? Stop. And I kept walked off because I'm just like, you were killing me. Now I got 7 tattoos, so it's just kind of like she's like,
There you go.
it's your body.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I got one on my back because purposely, like I can hide it.
Yeah.
They, like,
I want to say all mine are like visible. I mean, can be hidden because it's always like if I go to work, I don't. Even though most people don't care nowadays, like what about tattoos? It's kind of like I personally don't want to see them all the time. So
Yeah.
I know about things like work, but you can increase that, like this is visible. I think nowadays,
man, if folks walking to work with a full sleeve, leg sleeves, all types, it's like
Yeah.
that doesn't affect anything. It doesn't affect your job performance. It's like
Yeah, you still get it done.
what does the ink on my body have to do with my job performance?
right. It's just my hair. It's just kind of like why do I have to wear my hair a certain type of way for people 8 hours out of the day when it shouldn't even matter how my hair looks? It's like it's my hair.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a whole different topic.
She said that's a whole podcast.
That's a whole different
Different podcast.
different podcast. But I just want to say any like moral of the story, like anything you want to say to the viewers, like any like tips, any like last minute things or something that you learned from the podcast that you want to share real quick.
I would say just like what I said earlier, like I think people should move if they feel like what's best for them. Like don't be afraid to go out and explore new things just because somebody hasn't done it before or you're just not sure or people discouraging you. Like I said, step out on faith. If it feels right, it's like go ahead and do it because even if you do fail, it's like you should learn something from it. You know what I'm saying? Like I started going by the mindset I don't take L's, I just learn lessons. So it's just kind of like Nobody's perfect. We all have to grow. We all have to make mistakes. But also, it's kind of like at the end of the day, it's kind of like even if you do have to go back home or you're getting out the house a little bit later than other people, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's financial situation is different. Everybody's cost of living in their cities are different. So it's just like do what's best on your timing and then just stick to your plan. So that's really it.
I like that.
Yeah, most definitely take that leap of faith. If you're tired of like waking up and doing the same thing over and over again, like you have the power to alter your reality, whether that be your mindset, who you surround yourself with, the city you're in. So that's just a different it was a different way of going about like changing that, like just moving to a new city, just trying to see like what you can do there. No pressure if like you don't like it or things come up like financially or whatever, like move back home. Like sometimes people don't have that safety net, but like if you do, like use that, like that's like your lifeline. And yeah, like just like especially if you're young, like this is the best time to do it. So, take that leap of faith.
Okay, well, thank you guys for being on the podcast, being wonderful guests. You guys are very patient throughout the whole technical difficulties. So I want to thank you guys for that. Thank you everyone else for tuning in, who is watching and doing this podcast. Please stay up to date with all of our social media platforms, like I mentioned earlier, our Discord and our website. This has been a Desiree Benjamin from Inspiration Magazine. Hashtag a woman's touch. That's the hashtag. And goodbye. Bye.